Today, hashtag Blackface is trending on Twitter. This is after Justin Trudeau makes a bit of a boo-boo, or, well, he did about 20 years ago, in which he wore blackface or brownface to an event, and now there's a few other instances in which he has been caught also. But Justin Trudeau, I mean, this is the man who gave us such beautiful lines, such as, instead of humankind, it's peoplekind. I mean, this is the woke god, right? Justin Trudeau can't be touched when it comes to his wokeness. So therefore, he will not be beheaded. And today we'll look at a few of the events that lead up to this kind of a thing. So here's the thing, is I think that the left actually hasn't been the worst on this. Maybe not the most ideologically consistent, but not the worst. Ralph Northam, he did take some punches from the left when this was talked about. Now, this is a Republican, but still Alabama governor Kay Ivey, which her situation's a little bit different. She was going to college in 1967. I mean, woman's, I don't even know at this point, probably like 80 or something like that. I mean, come on. Like, really? Like, it's not right, and we shouldn't endorse it, but like, that was 1967. Justin Trudeau got in trouble in 2001. I mean, come on. But, alright, whatever. Regardless, wrong either way, so let's continue. Let's take a look here at Don Lemon, everybody's favorite. Don Lemon talking here a little bit about blackface and the history of blackface, and let's just take a quick listen to some of this.
That photo of Governor Northam's yearbook page, right? That was 1984. Actor Ted Danson put on blackface and used the N-word at a Friars Club roast with his then-girlfriend Whoopi Goldberg. That was 1993. The photo of former Florida Secretary of State Michael Ertel, who apologized and resigned after a photo emerged of him in blackface dressed up like what he thought was a Katrina victim. That was 2005. And fashion house Gucci apologizing now for selling a turtleneck sweater that pulls up over the face with oversized lips over the mouth. Make no mistake, that is blackface. It was pulled from the brand site yesterday, just yesterday. America is not new to this controversy, but why does it keep happening?
Well, yeah, why is America always in trouble over blackface? Why? Oh, Canada's in trouble over blackface. Wow, are you telling me the United States is not the only place that has blackface? But the United States is just baked in racism. I mean, there's no other country more racist than the United States. How is this possible? Justin Trudeau, tell us how. Well, he couldn't tell us how. Instead, he just says, "Oh, I'm sorry, you know, that was a while ago. I'm changing in the future." Which, by the way, okay, I mean, he apologized. That's fine, but for a certain amount of people, just apologizing is never just enough. It is when you're Justin Trudeau, the god of wokeness himself. That'll get you by. But if you're anyone else, you could have a bit of a problem. Let's take a look at this video really quickly here. This is by WVTM 13 News. I'm assuming in Alabama. Honestly, though, I don't know for sure. So we're just going to take, though, a quick listen to this. I found this really interesting.
Role Ivy since regrets, but Representative Wanda Lynn Gavan believes it still represents who she is.
When people show you who they are, believe them. I believe Kay Ivey. I think that she is that person that blackface represented a racist person.
The Alabama GOP disagrees with Gavan.
So, wow. Okay. I somehow have a feeling she wouldn't be saying that about the god of wokeness himself, Justin Trudeau. I somehow feel that wouldn't be the case when talking about Justin Trudeau. But let's go on and take another listen here. Once again, hopping back to Don Lemon and take a listen to, this happened when, I guess, this photo came out of Baton Rouge police officers in Louisiana who were conducting a sneaking operation, and apparently they did so in blackface. This was in 1993. Let's take a listen on what Don Lemon has to say about it.
So the current Baton Rouge police chief is apologizing for this photo. Chief Murphy Paul says that blackface photographs are inappropriate and offensive. They were inappropriate then and are inappropriate today. The Baton Rouge Police Department would like to apologize to our citizens and to anyone who may have been offended by the photographs. The chief is right. Inappropriate then, inappropriate now. So, all right, listen. Can we all just admit that blackface is wrong, and can we just stop it? I am sick of talking about it. I really am. It is a huge problem, but I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about it. So for me, this is the moral of this story. Let's talk about what will make a difference here, policy-wise. The police chief should have apologized for the lack of diversity in the department back then, and that anyone would even fathom that putting white officers in blackface was a good idea, let alone a tool for law enforcement. You know what would have been sufficient here? Black officers. And as a matter of fact, according to the Baton Rouge paper, The Advocate, after decades under consent decree to diversify the Baton Rouge Police Department's racial makeup, it still does not reflect the city's population.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it there. First of all, that's the dumbest thing I've ever... This is off topic now, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just because the exact percentage makeup of the police department doesn't reflect the city's population that's not how applying for jobs works, but okay. Sure. Anyway, besides the point, I agree with him. I'm sick of talking about this. This is terrible. Blackface, it's bad. It is bad. You shouldn't do it. But let's go ahead and take a listen to Don Lemon just the other day. Or I think just last night, I want to say, but I don't remember when exactly this aired. This is the only place I could actually find the video. Let's take a listen to what he has to say about it now.
After a photo popped up of him wearing brown face during a school event in 2001 when he was a teacher, he said he didn't think it was racist at the time. Now he says he knows it was. He is apologizing for it. Also saying it, wasn't the first he's done it before. What do you think, Anna?
Look, you and I have friends who have worn blackface. You and I, know people who did this in the past, and there's now a different standard than there was in the past. I think it was a pretty horrible thing to do, a pretty stupid thing to do. To me, that the entire idea of putting on dark makeup seems like a really lazy attempt at costume. Surely you can be more creative than that. That being said, to hear the words, "I am sorry, I made a mistake," come out of a government leader's mouth is so refreshing and it's so shocking that I'm shocked we all haven't gone into some sort of conniption.
Yeah, look, he said that he's sorry. That's it. That's all it takes, man. He said he's sorry. Let's move on. Wait a minute now. But Kay Ivey said she was sorry. And hers was back in 1967. I mean, that was acceptable back then. 2001, it still wasn't really acceptable. I mean, maybe you wouldn't be super in trouble, but it's not acceptable per se. 1967, that was standard. So, why is Kay Ivey saying, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, that was a long time ago. I barely even remember that incident. I apologize"? Well, that's not accepted. But Justin Trudeau, the god of wokeness himself, says, "Hey, I'm sorry. I know that's wrong now." And people go, "Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Justin Trudeau. All we wanted was an apology." Well, that's really strange. Baton Rouge Police Department apologizes, says, "Hey, it was wrong. We shouldn't have done that then." Apologize. But that's not enough for the Baton Rouge Police Department. No. They need to apologize. They need to change the racial makeup of the whole. They need to do all this. But Justin Trudeau maybe gets away with it. Let's go ahead and listen to Don Lemon. To be fair, that wasn't Don Lemon. Maybe he doesn't believe that.
Because I have forgotten what it's like to have a leader that can express some level of remorse, regret, and humility to accept it and say it out loud.
I was stunned when I heard him. It was so refreshing to hear. Listen, I'm not talking about what he did, how egregious, whatever you think, you can think about that, but to hear a leader apologize and seem contrite, to have some level of contrition, it's such a, pun intended, foreign.
What? Did that really happen?
Wait a minute. But Don Lemon, you've done videos on the history of blackface. What are you talking about when you say, oh, you can feel about it however you want, but, you know, how do you feel? I thought you were pissed off about stuff like this. I mean, this makes you mad. We've already established that. You get pissed about this stuff, and that's fair, that's fine. Understandable, even. Totally understandable. But now it's not that big a deal as long as he's saying he's sorry. You're happy about that? We're good about that? What? Don, you go on and call Donald Trump racist every day, practically. And now Justin Trudeau is caught in literal blackface multiple times, and it's, oh, well, you know, he apologized. He said it's bad now, so, I mean, that's okay. What? What? Okay, let's listen to the end of it and wrap this up.
Does that actually happen?
What do you think, Mark? And we want to get to the circus quickly. I want to know what you think about this.
Well, I agree. It was the right thing to do, to just own up to it and apologize for it, and he seemed to do it in a very straightforward manner. And you know, so it's I mean, saying it wasn't racist at the time. I think what we're learning is you got to recognize it at the time for what it is, and learn a lesson from it.
Let's look at this. This is a clip from Sunday's The Circus.
So as long as he apologized, I mean, he has to recognize that it wasn't okay at the time, but he doesn't really, because it's not like we're going to press him on the issue because we want him to win the election, because after all, he's the woke god. I mean, come on now, people kind, for God's sake, man, come on. This is ridiculous. I mean, look, the left has not been, this goes for both sides. It's not been super consistent. Obviously, everything's partisan now. We understand that, but come on, man. I mean, this is too much. I think most of the time with Ralph Northam and people like that, it's been okay-ish. And what I mean by that is at least people, I feel like, are calling each other out about this. Like, it's not an entirely partisan issue. But man, when it comes to the Golden Boys, Justin Trudeau being one of them, I mean, these guys can do no wrong. It's so disgusting to watch this happen where, I mean, once again, Donald Trump gets called a racist every single day, and that's not to say he hasn't done some things that could lead somebody. I think we need to acknowledge some things like the Mexican judge incident and all this stuff that you go, hey, that wasn't good. But with that being said, I mean, imagine if we had a photo of Donald Trump in blackface. I mean, I think the world would end. We would just explode, so spontaneously combust, because there'd be nothing left. He'd be the ultra-racist devil that he is, and it would be over. Even if he apologized, it wouldn't matter. But the golden boy of wokeness, Justin Trudeau, comes out and apologizes, and it's, oh, well, yeah, he apologized, that's good. That's fine with me. I mean, no big deal. I mean, whatever you think about blackface, okay, fine, but he did apologize, obviously, which is pretty good. Come on, guys. Come on, you're better than that, or at least I hope you're better than that. That's all I really had to say about this. I mean, it's been just disgusting to sit there and watch these liberals who act like they're woke, who want every person caught in blackface to change the makeup of their cabinet or police department, or, you know, resign or do all this. But Justin Trudeau gets off with a slap on the wrist because guess what? There's an election coming up for him. He can't afford a big hit right now. They can't grandstand right now because it'll hurt him too much. So instead, they sweep it under the rug and take all of that bullshit about racism and fucking sexism, all the SJW fucking nonsense, and sweep it under the rug for the golden boy. For the absolute fucking golden boy, this Justin Trudeau, the people kind motherfucker himself. It's terrible. This is partisanship, people. This is what partisanship does to you. And this is why the left is an absolute fucking joke with no principles.